Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to be taking you through a little mini mid-year audit. And I always recommend to do this from time to time to ensure that what energy you're putting out into the world is working towards you in your favor. It's very easy to fall into the motion of just doing things. So it's super important to stop and pause, zoom out and reflect. Hey, is this the direction I want to keep going? Have things changed? All of these sort of things come into play. So by doing a little mini audit, and we want to keep it super simple, I'm going to take you through the 5 questions that we'll answer here, is that you're able to realign if you need, because who you were 6 months ago is different to who you are now. You have different experiences throughout your life that have shaped you into the person you are today. So let's go through the questions. And I recommend to grab a journal, sit somewhere quiet if you can, and take some time. This may take 20 minutes, this may take a couple of hours. There is no time limit in terms of, when you should have this completed by. But as a recommendation, I recommend to do it within like a week or so, starting to sort of frame that. So then you can start to create a roadmap outwards. So, number one is, what do you desire for yourself and your life in the next 5 to 10 years? Now, the reason why I say this first is because we want to think about the bigger picture and then we're going to work backwards. And that's going to help us establish goals for at least the next 6 months so we know what to focus on. So, when we think about that life for yourself and who you are in the next 5 to 10 years, think about everything when it comes to, your career, your fitness, your relationships around you. So that's not just romantic, but like your friendships, your working relationships, like community relationships, whatever it might be. What's your mindset like? What kind of beliefs would you have about yourself? Would your family dynamic be different? Where would you be living? What kind of, lifestyle would you have? And that's really important to note because what you want in 5 to 10 years' time, where you're hoping you will be, is really important because that's going to be like a nice driving force and a roadmap to help work backwards towards these questions. So when you do that and you sort of figure that out, then we can move on to the other questions. But of course, I do want to say this. If you're not exactly sure where you want to be in 5 to 10 years, these next couple of questions will also help you decide. So if you can't figure out the question, what you want for the next 5 to 10 years for yourself, like where you're going to be, you actually be able to help get a little bit more of a roadmap of what you don't want to help drive you towards what you do want. So the question number 2 is, what do you like about your life currently? Now, the reason why I say this is because there's aspects of life that you love and that you don't love. So it's like, what do you love about your life currently? It might be like, oh, I love that I get to have a cup of coffee with my partner in the mornings. Like it could be literally anything. It could be like, oh, I love that I'm able to go to the gym in the morning for an hour. Like it's so individual. So write down everything you love about your life and your lifestyle currently. And then I also want you to think about, what do you like about yourself? So it might be like, yeah, I have really good mental grit, and I really like that about myself. Or it might be like, I really love that I'm organized. I love that I'm the person that's always early. Like it could literally be anything. And I really want you to take some time to really write about what you like about yourself and what you like about your life, because this is going to help go, cool, this is what I want more of. And then question number 3 is, what do you not like about your life currently? So it might be like, okay, well, you know, at the moment, life doesn't have consistency. And I would love to have a little bit more consistency when it comes to like my work schedule or things like that. And it's like, okay, cool, well, let's write that down, right? And then I also want you to think about like, what do you not like about yourself right now? There's going to be parts of ourselves that we don't like. And, we don't have to love everything. But if we don't like something about ourselves, we can work on creating a different relationship with that. So, like, for example, let's just say one thing I don't like about myself is that I tend to think of the worst case scenario first, right? And it's like, well, why can't I just be like best case scenario? Like it could be anything, right? And it's like, okay, cool. We start to write down these things and it's like, well, why don't you like these things about yourself? And it's like, oh, well, because it stops me from being happy in the moment or things like that. So we've actually started to establish what we really love about our lives and what we like about ourselves, and what we really dislike about our lives and dislike about ourselves. And this is going to help us build a beautiful little roadmap about what we want more of and what we want less of. And it's important to understand the why you like something and also why you don't like something. So take the time to write down why you really like something, or why you really like that about yourself, or why you don't like something and why you don't really like something about yourself. Because, like let's just take, for example, maybe you're like, oh, I don't like that I give up, right? And it's like, well, why? Because it makes me feel like I can't do certain things. And it's like, okay, well, cool, we know that. And then eventually, like you can work with someone or you can even do this yourself, is like you can go, okay, cool. Well, I don't like this about myself. How could I do this differently so I can actually build skills there? So it like sort of circles back. And then if you think about like yourself in the next 5 to 10 years, it's like, I am that person that can do those things. I am a person that can execute a plan and follow it through. I am a person that can achieve the hard things. Like it helps you understand what you want in the next 5 to 10 years for yourself. So spend some time doing those questions. Now, I recommend that once you've done questions 2 and 3, if you haven't completed question number 1, circle back to number 1 and then think about if any desires have come up for what you want to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years. And that's about yourself, maybe about your career, friendships, quality of life, whatever it might be. And then once you've done questions 1, 2, and 3, I recommend for you to come down to question 4, which is what needs to change for you to build the life that you want. Now, when you look at where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years, and then you look at where you are at right now, do a bit of a mini review. What is different? What are you taking with you? What is changing? So, like, for example, we come back to that thing where it's like, oh, I can't complete the things and I feel like a failure. It's like, okay, well, what needs to change? I need to build up some mini wins to build up some confidence in myself to create that belief that I can do the hard things. And I need that support initially, right? It could be something like that. Or, like, let's just say, for example, you have like a fitness goal. And, like, let's just say you want to drop 20 kilos. It's like, okay, well, right now I'm not eating super consistently. I'm sort of like starving some days, or I'm like overeating some days. I'm not exactly sure what's wrong. So what I need help with first is having someone review it all for me so I can create consistency there. And that what needs to change is my habits and relationship with myself and with my fitness and nutrition, right? It could be things like that. And you start to go, cool, okay, well, these are the things that need to change, right? Or what you think needs to change. It doesn't, even if you don't know exactly what needs to change, just write down like, okay, well, this isn't working for me. I'm not sure exactly how to get there. And then once you've done that, right? So you've done questions 1, question 2, question 3, and question 4. This is when we start to write down some goals that are aligned to that big life you want to create for the next 6 months. And I recommend to just pick 1 or 2 from each category. So I've given you fitness, health, financial, social, business, adventure, and personal, but they could be like anything that's specific to you. Maybe you don't do business, maybe, maybe you don't love adventure, like whatever it might be. But I recommend to pick 1 or 2 from each category. So what you could do, and what I recommend, is to write down all the goals you want to achieve underneath each category. So, like, let's just say maybe in fitness, you've got, I want to lose 20 kilos. I also want to run my first marathon. I want to be able to get a deadlift over 150 kilos, right? That's 3 goals. All right. And then you want to pick just like 1 to focus on for the next 6 months, right? So it might be like, okay, well, maybe losing fat will be the first goal that I want to focus on. And then I'm going to focus on my strength and my endurance next year, or whatever it might be. Same thing with like health. Like, what's something you could really focus on? Maybe it's like, okay, I want to focus on sleep. I want to focus on water. And I also want to focus on, um, my nutrition, being consistent, right? So it's like, okay, well, let's really just pick one that's really, really important and really map it out why it's important to change that. So it might be like, okay, well, consistently over the next 6 months, I want to focus on getting quality sleep. And what does quality sleep look like? Same thing with financial. Maybe it's a saving goal or whatever it might be. Social, like, is it going out more? Is it putting yourself in uncomfortable situations? Whatever it might be. Adventure, personal, business, whatever you want. And I recommend write down all the goals that you want to achieve and just pick 1, maximum 2 from each category to focus on for the next 6 months. And that way we're not focusing on too much. It makes it somewhat manageable from important domains of your life. So I hope you enjoy this little mini reflection. It's so important that you do take that moment to pause and just do that like mini check-in when you need to, because like I said, you can feel like you're doing a lot, but then you get to the end of the year and you're like, I haven't accomplished anything towards my goals. Like, what was I doing? Well, it's because we weren't acting in alignment to the big life that you want to create. And that just means that you're further away from where you want to be when you could have spent that time just taking, even if it's small, even if it's tiny actionable steps, you're still working towards that direction instead of just randomly going for it, if that makes sense. So I hope you enjoy. Have an amazing day and let me know if you found this useful. And I'd love to hear some of your goals commented below as well.